If you're listening to this the first week in 2026, then this is your shot at completely changing your life in 30 minutes. And I'm not just putting it out there lightly, because this conversation will truly change your mindset forever. The words of Brad Burton still echo with me today. He will just give you the exact practical tips on how to actually achieve that using the 1-1-1 technique, the 24-24-24 technique, and just how to build a system and a mindset that can help you make 2026 the best and most productive year of your life. Now, I'm joined by a man who's built a reputation for inspiring audiences to take bold action because he's lived every word he shares. Now, Brad Burton is UK's #1 motivational business speaker, a 4-time bestselling author, and the founder of 4 Networking, the largest joined-up business network in the country. But his success story didn't start in a boardroom. It started on a council estate. At 31, Brad was £25,000 in debt, delivering pizzas, and wondering how to turn things around. What changed everything was his mindset. By changing what he thought, he changed his entire life, going from rock bottom to building a multi-million-pound business and helping thousands of others do just the same. Today, Brad works with global organizations like Bentley, Costa, and Xero, showing leaders and teams that no matter where you start, you can create your own success story. He's real, raw, hilarious, and 100% human. Now, what you're gonna notice throughout this episode is that Brad Burton isn't just a motivational speaker. He's proof that with the right mindset, you can rewrite your life. Are you ready? With no further ado, let's begin.
Hey, it's Sonia, and welcome to the SMARTA Podcast.
Brad Burton, welcome on the SMARTA Podcast.
Sonia, I'm delighted. Hey, it's a new year. Let's go.
We're starting strong. I mean, in the green room already, your energy completely amazed me. So let's keep it going. And I want to start you off. If you can talk directly with a person listening right now, what would you say are the top 3 most important takeaways that they would not want to miss from today's conversation?
You know, when it comes to where you end up in your life, it's a direct result of your decisions. I have a system that enables you to make rapid, fast decisions. And not only that, but assertive and correct. So you don't want to miss that. And also the other thing is that it's about being the best version of yourself. How do you become and be and maintain and retain the best version of yourself? And, you know, there's 2 versions of me. There's 2 versions of you. There's a grumpy, not so good version, and there's a good, uplifting, let's go. Well, guess what? As a motivational speaker, I can have a bad day. So the systems and processes that I use, we're going to share them today as well.
And with that, I want to ask you something that can be amazingly implemented into the person listening right now's life: mindset. You've often said that everything changed the moment you changed your mindset. So for those feeling stuck right now or uncertain, what would you say is that first step that they can take today?
Yeah. What is the first step? See, where we get it wrong is we're thinking about the next 5 steps or the next 10 steps. Stop. What is the next step that you need to take in order for you to get to where you want to get to? Now, if you don't know where you're going, it's a long way to go. It's a long way to go when you're lost. So this is the first thing that you need to establish. Where are you going? Because what happens is people end up wanting to go fast and they're not really sure where or why they're going. So that's what I'd say to you. Work out fundamentally. What I do is I have an A3 pad. This is my A3 pad. There we go. And I write at the top right, where I want to get to. And then I work out the steps. What are the steps that I need to take? So I used to be 5 stone heavier. So effectively, I can't even work out the kilograms of it, but lots, maybe 50 kilograms heavier than I currently am. So that was 10, 12 years ago. And I wanted to lose weight. And I say to people, if you could press a button and every single time that you pressed it, you lost a kilogram, how many times would you press it? And people say 10 times. We go, guess what?
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a button that you press where it loses weight. So what changes can you make that will enable you? And that's what you need to do. So work out where you want to get to and then work out the next step, not the next 5 steps, not the next 10 steps, but the next step that you need to take to make that a reality.
Brad, can I tell you about something that completely changed my life?
Go.
You just brought up this system, and this year is the first year I actually started breaking down my year into trimesters, and every single 3 months, I would put goals, how to achieve them, and then the achievements on the next page. I cannot tell you, Brad, how many things I've achieved in only 12 weeks that I would have probably achieved 12 months last year.
You know, Sonia, I think the whole thing with this thing is it's about being methodical. And once you start realizing that can I just ask, how old are you, by the way?
17.
I didn't start my business off till I was 31, right? You are so sharp. You are so sharp. And I'll tell you something, you've got something pretty special, which is people don't understand that when you have got, I call it the 8%, people that say what they're going to do and they do what they say they're going to do, right? And someone like you is a fire and forget like me, that if I say I'm going to do something, it's handled. You don't have to come back to me again. It's done.
Yeah.
And that is something that I've carried through my business and through my life. And I only discovered that maybe about 10 or 15 years ago, that's what I did. And the fact that you're 17 and you kind of landed on it and go, okay, that's what I'm about. That will carry you. That. Never lose that. And then I'll tell you this now, you know, when you say something, but don't say it unless you're going to do it. If you say, hey, guess what? We're going to meet today as we are. Don't say it, even if there's any iota. And if you don't 100% believe in what you're doing, 100%, don't do it. Don't do it. Not 99, but no. What's stopping you being at 100%? What is stopping you? And once you realize that, what's stopping you, then you can turn around and say, okay, do I want to fix this so it gets to 100% or do I not want to? So, yeah, listen, you've got the best of starts going. You really have. At 17, mind-blowing.
Thank you. And you just fuel me with energy that can lead me through the whole year. I can play this episode again, and I know it's not going to fail me in motivating me to get up every day with my happy side.
Sonia, and you're right, because it's energy, and it's something that I teach people. If I can find one, I've got one here, so you're in business. Something that I teach people, which is really important, the power of energy. Okay, this is you're not going to be able to see it all here, but I'll just share it. This is effectively how I evaluate myself. I'll send you a free copy of this, all right, so you can have a copy and you can see. But I'm a computer gamer. If I'm playing a computer game and there's an enemy there and it's a big dragon and I'm a level 1, it's a level 20 dragon, I'm never going to be able to defeat the dragon. Yeah, but I want to get the treasure. I know that, but you're never going to do it. So too many people try to level 1. And what you've got to do is you've got to go away. You've got to work out, okay, in order to defeat the dragon, we're going to need more armor. We're going to need more energy. We're going to need it. Boom. Same principle. I gamified life. I gamified business and say, okay, if I want to be at the highest level as a speaker, I'm going to have to lose weight. And how's that relevant? It's absolutely relevant, because if I couldn't motivate myself to lose weight, it's very difficult to motivate anyone else to. So the first person you have to motivate is you. But I do look at the way that energy is so important. And when you're low energy, life's dark. Everything that you see is sad. And when you're high energy, boom. And when you go on a holiday, on a vacation, and it's like, yes, all the energy that comes to you and so excited. And then you go back to work and you play. Energy is so important, crucial to success, crucial. And I look at the first thing that I do when I work with somebody is I go, right, what is your energy level at? What is your battery at? If you look at your mobile phone and you look at your phone and you go, okay, I'm on 87%. What about you? If you had an LED on your head, what would you be at? And if you're ever, say, less than 50%, first thing I want you to do before you start working is work out how do you get that energy from 50 to 60 to 70 and so forth.
Let's talk about your books. For the person listening that just grasped everything that you said, now what? Let's talk about that book. Moving you and your business onto the next level. That's what. Because you talk about the moments in life when people feel lost and unsure about what's next. Can I ask you, Brad, what advice do you have for someone tracing down their own now what moment?
You know, the only time that we ever ask now what is when the shit's hitting the fan. When things aren't going good. You've just lost a job, you've had a crash, whatever, right? You fell out with your boyfriend, whatever, right? Now what? And people under stress don't make great decisions. People under stress don't make great decisions. So when you're under stress and you're in a now what moment, you're not inclined to make a good decision. So what I do is I urge people to have a now what moment and ask yourself right now, if the business was to collapse, now what? If it wasn't going to work out with my college education, now what? And get ahead of it. Get ahead of it and understand this, that everything happens for the reason, even the shitty stuff. You and I are talking right now because 30 years ago, I got shot at in Manchester, which is, where I was originally from, and I moved away. So, the life that I lead now is the life that I led 30 years ago. And things change, and that's what I want people to understand. So you're now at moment, whatever you're going through, recognize this, that all problems have a worst before date, right? Mm-hmm. So get ahead of any now what. Get ahead of any now what before you need to ask that question, now what.
Mm-hmm. I want to move on to your second book, because for people that, you just radiate your energy, get off your arse, as your book says, that need to have it all figured out. What can they do to help them stop overthinking and just take that action?
Yeah. An expert is someone that has made all the mistakes in a particular niche field. So when it comes to podcasts, I've made all the mistakes. I've left my phone on and people have been ringing or whatever, right? Or when it comes to speaking, I've died on stage. Hundreds of times in the first 10 years. But I needed to do that in order to get to be an expert. Now, a mistake, where we end up in our life, is a direct result of our decisions, good ones and bad ones, right? Mm-hmm. And the reason that people don't make decisions is they're scared they're the wrong ones, right? If you knew that every decision that you made was the right one, you'd make more, but we don't. Mm-hmm. So that's why we don't get off our arse, because we're scared it's the wrong move. But if you don't move, that's the wrong move. So what I would say is do something, anything. Don't worry about it being accurate and correct. Do your best. Do your best. That's it. Am I doing my best? Yes. Am I doing my best? No. Why aren't you doing your best? Because I'm fearful. I'm scared. Okay. Can we do anything about the fear and scared? No. Then in which case, you're doing your best. It's that. And understand, when I started my business off, 25,000 UK pounds in debt, no income, like genuinely no income. I delivered pizza at weekend to keep my business afloat. 2004, 21 years ago. This is what you need to understand, is no one's got it. An expert is someone that has made all the mistakes. And any expert that you look up to was once a beginner, right? Mm-hmm. And it's your ability to be able to push through the fear that will determine where you end up in your life, in your business, in your world. So, every time I ever stood up in those first few years as a speaker, I was terrified, internally shaking, but I couldn't show the world that. And eventually you wake up one day and you go on stage and you're not terrified, you're not nervous, you're not shaking. And that's what I'd say to anyone. So ask yourself a question. If Brad was here right now, what would he advise me to do? Start somewhere, get off your ass.
And you're right, because you only know if the choice is the right one after you take it. And following that mentality, you've got Stephen Bartlett saying, what if you were only 30 failures away from finally getting that dream success business?
100%. And I've had so many failures that people wouldn't ever know about. I reckon I've got 13, for every project that's ever worked for me, I reckon I've got 13 failures or half jobs. I've created lots of businesses, lots of concepts and the like. So I really would suggest, certainly when I started, less so now, less wastage. And I tell you the other thing about life and business, nothing is ever wasted. Nothing is ever wasted. And like people are, I made a mess of that project. No, you know what's lovely? When you make a mess of something, you end up getting experience. And experience is what you win when you lose, when things don't go your way. So I always ask myself, what did I get here? I got experience or I got a win. So either way, you're going to move you forward. And that's what experience is.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask you about your third book, Life Business Just Got Easier? And ask you, what are some of your non-negotiables you've developed over your career that you just can't get away from, that keep your energy high?
Be you. Be you. If people don't like me because I swear on occasion, fuck them. Right? And like, no, but I'm being flippant there. But it's every step of the way in my career, I was told that I couldn't start a business off because I didn't have any working capital. I had no idea what working capital actually was. So people said I couldn't start a business off. I did. People said, I shouldn't become an author. I've not got any degree in English. I did. I wrote the book, and they said, well, you'll never get it in the publishers, into the shops, the stores. I got it into the stores. And when I started my business network, people said, yeah, but it's never going to work. It worked 68,000 business networking meetings later. Well, people said, you're never going to get employed, or you're never going to get booked as a speaker with tattoos on a shaved head. And you'll never get on the highest levels of corporate. JCB, Costa, Bentley, the list really goes on. So every step of the way, I've been told by people, it won't work. You can't do it. And every step of the way, I've turned down the volume on that. So what I want you to do is, with yourself, is I want you to turn up the volume on you. And if people don't like you for being you, that's okay. And somebody said to me once I came off stage, Brad, your style's not for everyone. Your style's not for everyone. And I said, okay. I said, in the history of humanity, give me one person whose style is for everyone. One person in the history all of time. And he went,
you're not going to find one.
Well, he said, Father Christmas. I said, I can give you billions of people who don't agree with you on that front. So, and this is the thing, but it's like, you can have somebody want to put a bullet in your head for your views on world peace. It's just, I think you've just got to get on with your life. Where we've gone wrong, I think, as society, is everyone's looking at what they're doing. And it's like, no, what are you doing? Forget what they're doing. What are you doing? Because if I listened to people left and right of me, I would never have achieved anything. I've never, genuinely, and it's not me being clever, I'm on a podcast. I'm telling you, I would never have achieved anything. At 31, you've got 15 years here. I'm 52. Anyway, but this is the thing. If you can get ahead of your decisions, if you can genuinely get ahead of your decisions and be conscious of every single decision that you make, because people don't. People just autopilot and just go through life and do what they've always done. Be conscious. Say to yourself, this decision that I'm making, in fact, I won't even talk about it because I did say I was going to be one of the tips. So I'll part that for the time being.
Brad, if a 17-year-old came up to you, and I'm talking about these teenagers now that are too addicted to the hyperconnectivity that we live in today, and they want to come up to you and tell you they want to build something meaningful, but they don't know where to start. What's the first thing you tell them?
So I would get a piece of paper. And I would get a pen, and I would say to them, hey, here's what I want you to do. I want you to write down from memory all the things that you could do. Just write down. Just write like a Victorian medium. I could do car walking. I could do this, that, and the other, and just fill it out. And then once you've done that, get a different color pen, and then circle 3 of them. Then take those 3 to another piece of paper, 1, 2, and 3, and actually put them in priority. Which is your favourite? 1, which is your favourite? Number 2, bubble. So you've got your priorities. And then write down the steps that you need to take to make that a reality. That's it. We make it too complicated. But you need a business and an income and expenditure plan. No, you don't. Start somewhere. And I think what's happened is there's all these barriers to entry. And if you're good and you want to do breakdancing or you want to whatever, right? Set up an Instagram and do breakdancing. Oh, but I've not got the right cameras. Shut up. You don't need that. You don't need all the stuff. This is the thing. What you need to do is do it. Stop talking about it and do it. That's what I'd advise anyone.
Mm-hmm. And, I'm actually just disappointed to see how many people around me have that mentality that their goals are unachievable. Because if you just jot them down on paper, as you've told me, the big goal that seems unachievable, whether it's a materialistic or spiritual or emotional goal, then you turn it down to all the tasks you need to do, and you flip it over to a daily goal to-do list that's going to keep you 365 days. It's inevitable.
Sonia,
you will achieve.
Sonia, you are sharp as a tack. I am blown away by you.
Thank you.
Like, no,
but it's
no,
true.
No. We can't move on from this. Sorry. You are genuine. Like, you are one to watch. Like, seriously. Wow. You get it. And this is the thing, your principles that you're talking about. I'm 52 and I'm an old man now. And it's like, I look at this and I go, whoa, you're there. I wasn't there until I was 40 maybe. So the fact that you've got this head start about what you want for your life and your ability to be able to discern what you want and how you're going to get it, exceptional. But let me tell you something, Sonia. Never be in a hurry to get there, right?
Yeah.
So if you think about the Jenga board, you played the game Jenga?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did this for my business. I was 31 when I started. So maybe I was a little bit late in the day. But I rushed to build this big tower of success, and it was very wobbly. My advice that I would say to you is build it slowly and consistently. Slowly and consistently. It's the piece of advice that everyone ignores. Everyone ignores until you've got a big wobbly tower of success and your life is being dominated to try and maintain and hold it. Yeah. So that's what I'd say to you. Never be in a hurry to get there. Move fast, move assertively, but move correctly. And when you make a mistake, work out that you can kind of roll back and go, okay, what did we learn from that? And mistakes are essential to growth.
I absolutely agree. Appreciate the journey to the mountain. We've heard that phrase a lot. And I want to ask you about how to build a legacy, because you've built a multi-million-pound business without waiting for someone's permission. So what's your view on how young people today can actually build that something of their own, without the big resources?
Yeah, well, look, it's mountaineers don't stay at the top of mountains. I run full networking, and I built full networking from nothing. I'm around 68,000 business networking meetings. And at its height, it was 2.5 UK million pounds. The pandemic came along, boom, gone overnight. Overnight. And this is a real lesson for me as a human being, is that Boris Johnson, please stay at home. I'm running 500 networking meetings and thousands of members around the holiday inns and expresses and stuff around the UK. And then the pandemic came along, which was nothing to do with me, right? It was nothing to do with me. Yeah. But through circumstances out of my control, my 14-year business collapsed overnight. Now, what's lovely about this is I've rebuilt, okay? I've rebuilt, but it's really important to recognize that life is not always just a 45 degree that you'd be lovely to all the podcasts suggest that it's like. So it's your ability.
It's not linear.
Right, it's not. So it's your ability to deal with the ups and the downs and accept that downs are as equal a part of importance of life. So when it comes to that, I would say a legacy is this. We are so focused on the future. Now I'm going to give you some wisdom right now, which you might understand or you might not. Okay, and the reason to say the reason to say that is that it took me probably 48 years of my life to understand this. When I was your age, I didn't realize I was living. Just going from one amazing thing to another amazing thing, another amazing thing. Everything's amazing, everything's amazing. And as you get older, things start becoming not amazing as a human being. Now I've managed to rekindle the amazing that is being everything's exciting for me. I've kind of recalibrated it, but most 50-year-old people are all miserable and sad and so forth. Now, when it comes to legacy, we're so worried about the future. Let me be really honest, legacy-wise, I'm not going to be here, right? So it kind of doesn't matter, right? It kind of doesn't matter, although my legacy does, and what I mean, I can explain some of the things that I've done. But what I would say is this. We spend so much time in the past, if that hadn't happened and that hadn't happened, and it would cause us to be depressed. Oh, the future, oh my gosh, what happens if Putin drops a nuclear bomb on Britain? Oh, it's terrible. So the past is negative and it's depressing generally. The future's full of anxiety. And at night time, we're in bed in the past and the future, and we never think about this moment right now, this moment where you and I are talking. It's always, but your head's always there. And I would say this, the more time that you can actively and consciously spend here, not in the future, not in the past, but here, because one day, the future that you want, that you want, is going to be your here, not your there. And we're so focused on getting there that we don't ever spend any time here. So every moment that you spend there, you're not spending it here. So if you think about you, the way that you live and the way that I live, we live in our brains. Nobody sees the world in the same way that you see it because of your upbringing, society, computer, whatever TV programs, your music, you see the world differently, and so does everyone else. So what we end up doing is we try to convince people to see the world our way. But what we need to do is convince ourselves to see the world our way. And in doing so, you live so much brighter. Everything's more vivid, everything's more positive. Because when you try to conform or conform to society, you end up losing a little piece of yourself. So I would say that's what I would say. Live in the present. So legacy, I've changed the networking scene. I've written some books. I've done the unthinkable. I've just dealt with a stalker, the less than 2% conviction rate. I've got a female stalker. You're not a female stalker. That's exactly what they would say. But look, I think, so I've done quite a lot of things that are really positive, but it's about the now right now. It's about the now for me.
You know what, Brad? I'm so happy that you just said you rekindled your excitement for every day, because I just read a book, Tiny Experiments by Andler LeCompte. It is brilliant on telling you that, success doesn't come in that 45-degree angle, like you just said. It's all about tiny experiments and taking it down to a minuscule level to you in the world of
100%.
how much population of people we have. And I want to transfer this to motivational speaking, your motivational speaking career and connectivity. For young entrepreneurs right now looking to start building authentic connections, how can they do that in today's hyper-connected world?
By recognizing that you don't need 20,000 followers, you need 20 people that you can trust. And I think we've had the wrong metric.
Yeah.
We've had the wrong metric. Oh, she only got 3,000 followers. And it's just, what is going on? Imagine what the impact that you can have with someone without this. Now, I almost think we've been domesticated by our devices, and I wonder if we're controlling AI or AI is controlling us, because we're all feedback loops of AI, believing that it's us steering the AI. When actually, so I think from my perspective, it's. Go back to what I said, which is, you don't need 30,000 followers. You don't need 3,000. I'd rather have 30 people that I could trust and rely on than 3,000 people that I don't know or have got a very... And what I think we need to do with relationships is go deeper, not wider. So we need to build relationships. And actually, I kind of work out with this. I have if I can find it, I'll show you. I have like an exercise that I have a circle, and in the center it's like circles with additional circles around it, and like ripples. And I look at who is close into my circle, and then who's outside of it, and what's happened there, because dynamics always change, and your best friend today could be your worst enemy tomorrow. That's just how life is. But what you've got to do, you've always got to look at the best in people. My wife is so pessimistic. She'll say realistic. But my wife looks at the world through a pessimistic filter. I look through it through an optimistic filter. And that's the crucial bit for anyone that wants to build anything. Look at people, treat them with respect. Don't give a shit whether they've got £1 million, a Bugatti Veyron, or they're the carpet cleaner. It doesn't matter. Treat everyone the same with respect. And I think that this is one of the biggest things that I can do, is that people underestimate me. If people don't know who I am, it's difficult. It's easy to go, this guy looks like a security guard or a builder. You've got no idea. The reality is that when people know who I am, some people change. They change their approach, and it's like, nah, you've shown me exactly what you are. So I would say to your people, treat everyone the same with respect. Look through an optimistic filter and expect the best every single time.
I want to take you back to the followers that you mentioned. And my favorite mentality for that is just imagine 3,000 people in the room with you. You wouldn't be able even to fit them. So it's crazy, just to tie into what you've said, that we've sort of flipped the switch that, we need volume rather than the quality. The people that actually share your vision or your values.
100%.
And with that, since you touched upon AI, I want to mention that I think truly the soft skills today are becoming more important, like vulnerability and honesty. So I want to ask you why these two, vulnerability and honesty, are such powerful leadership tools in today's world.
I've shown people the reality of running a business. I was honest a minute ago when he was talking about my business, and I could have fronted it off. I could have said, oh yeah, millions of pounds. Right? No, but I could have. But I didn't, because actually that's what people need to understand, that life is about ups and downs. So by sharing I've got a stalker, by sharing in my books I've had a nervous breakdown, by sharing that I've been addicted to drugs twice, by sharing that I've been unemployed for four years, by sharing that I left school with no qualifications, that I moved 14 times and I had no father there, by sharing that I delivered pizza at 31, it allows somebody to go, actually, I'm 29. I never did have to deliver pizza. Things ain't that bad. And that's what it's about. So I think as a motivational speaker, me being able to share and be really honest about vulnerability and honest there, like really honest, brutally honest, allows people to go, okay. And people tell me things, which is lovely. People have this way of people being really honest with me and sharing with me things that they've never told people before. And in doing so, it's been like quite cathartic from my perspective, is that I never share specifically what anyone ever shares with me. And I think that that's part of that, is that somewhere along the way, my honesty and vulnerability allows other people to be honest and vulnerable. So crucial.
It is. And I agree with what you say. And I think now is the perfect time to move you into the SMARTA Podcast traditions. I've got 4 questions up for you, Brad. So let's see how you do. My first question to you is, what do you think success looks like?
Contentment.
What is your definition of it?
Contentment, absolute contentment. And I've got friends of mine who have supercars and and they're deeply unhappy. And you think that they've got all the trappings, gold taps, and they're not happy. And I think to myself, whoa, I call it, that's not success, that's success. You've got it wrong. And I had to get it wrong for me to realize what it is. And it's about balance. But the only way that you can really have balance in life is if you're contented. And if you're not contented, you'll never have balance.
My second question to you takes you back in time to when you were my age at 17. And I want to ask you, Brad, if you could talk to your younger self, what's one piece of advice that could carry you on through today?
How beautiful. What a lovely question. What a lovely question. That you're good enough, Brad. Right? You are good enough. It's going to take you a few times of getting it. You're going to get lost. You're going to find yourself, you're going to get lost a few times before you actually find out who and what you are. And it's that ability to be able to actually find out who and what you are, that where your power comes from, your ability to succeed, your ability to push through. So you are good enough. You just need to recognize that you're going to get lost along the way before you actually find who and what you are and what you're great at.
I want to add on to something that you just said, because you've reminded me about how at the start you were very full on energy. And I feel like truly energy is contagious. So I want to rewind the younger audience listening to this right now. If you find yourself in a position that, you have a circle of friends that drags you down emotionally and energetically, then maybe you should consider who you share your time with, because it's precious.
No,
and you only have one life.
Yeah. I mean, look, I say to really, when I was working with people, I asked them, I said, if you had to drop 2 people out of your life, who would that be and why? If you had to drop 2 people out of your life, who would they be and why? And then with your first one, start distancing yourself. Don't drop them, because being 17, 18, dropping people is problematic. So just start emotionally disconnecting yourself from that and just see, because you'll see what's going on there. But yeah, I do urge people to ask that question. If you had 2 people to drop, who would they be?
My third question to you is all around the world of literature. As you can see behind me, I have a big bookshelf. I wanted to ask you, Brad, what would you say are the top 2 books that completely changed your life?
So, without question, The Power of Now, right? Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. I went through what I can only describe as a spiritual awakening about 5 years ago. The most surreal thing I've ever encountered in my life. And I'm not sure whether it's a podcast conversation or not, but it's the most surreal thing that ever happened to me, and my life just changed instantly. And that's not me being religious or anything. I'm just saying something that I experienced, something that just everything changed. It was almost like the world said, hey, the universe, level up, Brad. And I changed. The Power of Now was on my desk for 6 months that I didn't read it. I bought it because I'd heard about it, and it was on my desk. And when I came completely disorientated throughout this period, that was on my desk, and I read it, and it made complete sense. It was one of the most profound stories I could ever share. So that's that question. And when I was 21 years old, I was there was a book called 23 Steps to Achievement by Robert J. Lumsden, or it's sometimes entitled 23 Steps to Success by Robert J. Lumsden. I got shot at when I was a young man, 95. So I was 21 years old. And I had this book. I was homeless effectively for like sofa surfing, and I had this book without the cover. It had no cover, right? And that was the thing that kept me going. So when you look at a legacy of someone like that, a book that was without a cover, that the gentleman is no longer here, but his words carried me, fascinating. And I'm hoping that one day the words of my books will carry somebody as well. Yeah, fascinating.
Wow.
It is about you.
You've just persuaded me, I can tell you straight up front, to get my hands on The Power of Now. Many of my books sitting here for more than 6 months. I should probably start reading them because I never know.
It's an interesting one, is that if I would have read it when I first got it, it probably wouldn't have landed. You need to read this and go, this doesn't make any sense. And then one day it all makes sense and something shifts in you. So I would, there's an audio book version of it, but the voice of the guy will probably do your head in. I would suggest you read it.
And now my most famous tradition here, that's how it started all of this, is where I ask my last guest to leave a question for the next one. And so in this case, the question left over for you is, what do you think is the key human competency for you to have success in your coaching work?
Ability to make assertive, fast and correct decisions under pressure and not allowing circumstances to blow you about. So what most people do is allow what's going on. I compartmentalize my decision-making process. So yes, I would suggest that that's what you need to do, is that ability to make assertive, appropriate, correct, decisive decisions under fire.
Brad, I started the episode with you talking in this way. I want to end it in the same way. So if you can talk directly with the person listening right now, what would be a parting advice you would want to leave them with? So
I said before that I'm going to give you some advice that is worth tuning into, and we're going to do this right now. This is the most simplest way to change your life. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to get a piece of paper. You don't need to do it now, but I want the individuals who are watching this to get a piece of paper, and I want them to write on it in letters 1, 1, 1. Okay, so I'm going to do it right now, and I'll follow you through with it. So piece of paper, and I'm going to write 1, 1, 1. That's it. Okay, this is the simplest way to remember what you need to do. What would the best version of me do in the next minute? What would the best version of me do in the next hour? What would the best version of me do in the next day? Wake up, repeat, repeat, repeat. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Every time you see the word 1, remind yourself. So that's that. And I'm going to give you another piece that I'm going to do, which is this. 24, 24, 24. Okay? This is another way to remember this. 24, 24, 24. When it comes to making decisions, where we end up is a direct result of them, good ones and bad ones. There is no correlation between time spent on a decision and it being correct or wrong. None. Proven. Every single day we make decisions. And somebody, should we have Kit Kats or Mars bars in the boardroom? Doesn't matter. Some decisions don't need to be made. But when it comes to making decisions, I'm the easiest person in the world to sell to. You contacted me, and within 24 seconds, done. Yeah, we're in. That's what we do. I make a decision. Yes, no. It's almost yes, no gate. 24 seconds. If I can't make a decision in 24 seconds, 24 minutes. If after 24 minutes I can't make a decision, I'll revisit it in 24 hours. If after 24 hours I can't make a decision, I've just made a call. It's not important. Next. So in between 1, 1, 1, what would the best version of me do? 24, 24, 24. And then the other thing is, when it comes to decisions, ask yourself this question. What's the best case if I make this call? What's the worst case? What's the most likely case? If you can live with the worst case of any decision, you should make it. If you can't, don't.
Can I just say you left me speechless? And with enough practical advice, I can carry on through the next decade. And sharing this half an hour with you, I think, can completely change the person that listened to the first episode of 2026.
What a start. I mean, seriously. And this is the bit. Stop waiting. Don't wait for anyone to give you permission. Go and give yourself permission. I am a bum. A bum that has done 4 years on benefits, that got addicted to drugs twice, got shot at, delivered pizza at 31. Am I a bum, or am I a 4-time best-selling business author, the UK's #1 motivational business speaker, the founder of 4 Network, and the guy who's just survived and got a conviction on a female stalker, less than 2% conviction rate? So I am that guy, and this is what I'm trying to say. There's 2 versions of you. a good version and a not so good version. And as a motivational speaker, I can't have a bad day. So if I can't have a bad day, what am I doing? Do that.
Can I just get a high five from you virtually?
Come on.
Yeah, let's go. Amazing. Thank you so much, Brad Burton, for being on the SMARTA podcast. I think you've changed my life.
Sonia, you've changed mine because I've never seen a 17-year-old in my life as tuned down. I swear. I mean, I know we're still running now, but you are something else, girl. Woo. Amazing.
Thank you so much. Best of luck with you because you're absolutely going to change the lives of many in all of your speeches that will come.
Thank you very much. Until next time.
Wow. Can you believe we're in 2026? And if you can just do me a favor and double check that you're subscribed to this podcast, and if not, subscribe now, because my guest list is only getting bigger and the wisdom that comes on here every single week just keeps getting more and better. And with that being said, Happy New Year. Make this the most productive year of your life using Brad's techniques. And if nobody told you this today or this year, let me be the first to tell you that I truly believe in your ability to create the life of your dreams. I'm Sonia Marta. This is the SMARTA Podcast. And I am truly a believer that you're in a year where you're going to double down your productivity, your efforts, your passion, and the results and the outcome will multiply. Thank you. And see you here next month.